everyone. Welcome to Lunch Therapy. This is the first Monday of the new year. We are journeying into the new year. I just wanted to look back for a second. Happy New Year, bitches, Nil says. Good to see you, Nil. We need a tech guy. Hopefully it's you that needs a tech guy, not me. Camille is here. Great to see you, Camille Walker. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us. Hi, new flies. Hi, guy fly. How is your eye? That's what we like to say around here. So I'm going to start off the first Monday of the new year, 2021, to take a look at what I learned staying at home for almost 9 months. Staying at home, yeah, unbelievable. Top 11 things I learned staying at home for almost a year. Number 11, how to time travel. I know, seems kind of weird, but I learned how to time travel. The other day, I got into my car. My car has been sitting in the driveway. We have not used it for 8-9 months. And I got in the car and it was like going back in time. It was so weird. If you haven't done this, get in your car. If you have like another car that you haven't been using, get in there. It's like a time capsule. There's like an old Starbucks cup in there. There's some moldy cheese. It was really a trip. It was a trip. I felt nostalgic. It seemed like more than a year since I sat in there. Number 10, new conspiracy theory. You've heard of birds aren't real? Legs aren't real. I mean, I know I've got legs. I'm pretty sure that I've got legs. Pretty sure my wife has legs, but people that I see out there on the Zoom, I'm not sure anymore. And then the mainstream media, of course, has legs, but you know, you can't trust them, right? Jose is here. Jose. Reverend Paul Bryant Sr., blessings to you. I pray all is well. All is well. Well, all is not well, but we're here to kind of get our minds straight. Todd Lee, hi. Happy 21. Yeah. Humming away in the new year. Are you nostalgic for moldy cheese? I think we can get some. I think some can be gotten. Reverend Paul Bryant Sr., welcome. Really nice to have you here. Ganelle is nostalgic for my legs. That's great. Let's get on to 9. Number 9 is three-dimensional people are not overrated. They're not overrated. 2D people, kind of fun, but I like to see some 3D people. I found out what happens if you never go anywhere. If you never go anywhere, I'll tell you what happens. You live the same week over and over and over again. Groundhog Week. Paul Bryant says it's a blessing to be here. And we are blessed to have you here as well. Number 7, people are kind of nice to have around. People are kind of nice to have around. There seems to be a theme here. I don't know if this is actually a list or if it's just a paragraph. Number 6, it might be fun to leave the house and go for a walk. It might be. That's what I'm thinking. I was thinking that for 9 months now. Number 5, our government officials think $600 is a lot when they have to give it to us, right? Suddenly, $600 is a lot of money. Groundhog Week, exactly. Now I look like a glamour don't with that thing in front of my eye. It would be nice to go for a walk. Yeah, perhaps that should happen, actually. Number 4, people are not really that interested in their own survival. It seems to me. That's why I don't go for a walk, because somebody will walk by me just blathering away on their phone with no mask, no nothing. People are not that interested in their own survival, and perhaps not in mine as well. Number 3, virtual backgrounds are fun, but they're no substitute for real foregrounds. I mean, this is cool. But, I'd like to see some reality. It'd be good. Number 2, cats are not low maintenance when you see them all the time. When you see, they're low maintenance when they're out of sight. They go, they do their thing, but as soon as they see you around all the time, they start giving you jobs. They start giving you more and more tasks to do. I don't recommend it. And number 1, the top reason, top thing I learned staying at home for almost a year. Drum roll, please. Time isn't real. I don't think it's real. I think it's a construct, and it is probably it's easier to see it when things change, when you don't get up and live the same day every single day. So anyway, I've discovered that. Let's get into the show. Hey, Guy Fly, how's your eye? Yeah, so last night I got up in the middle of the night because my cat was just adamantly scratching at the door, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're doing or why you're doing that. You must want to eat some food. I took him to the other room. There was food there. He just looked up at me. I petted him. He kept looking up at me, and I think he just wants me to do stuff. He's like, what else can I have him do? Could I get him? Maybe he wants to see, can I get him out of bed in the middle of the night? Can I just see if I have that power? I think my cats are flexing their power. Now, on the show, as in every show, we are going to breathe. We're going to go 3 breaths, and we're going to take it in. And this is how we're going to survive this day, by breathing. That's the way we survive every day, and today is no exception. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. This is a lovely background. Yes, thank you very much. It is by Ma Ambiance, who is one of my favorite ASMR people. That she does these incredible backgrounds. She makes them herself. I think your cats just want you to leave the house. They're like, that he was standing by the door. Maybe he was like, aren't you gonna leave sometime? Aren't you good to go? Maybe go for a walk? Very Hygge. That's right. Today the question is, what happens when I Hygge? What happens when I Hygge? That's going to be coming up. We're going to be talking about Poogie. I don't know if any of you know about it, but you will after this show. I want to hear you say Poogie. Poogie. I think that's the way it's said. Poogie. Reverend Paul Bryant Sr. says, and I'm really interested in what he has to say because this is his first time at the show, I think. I've been living in the streets in my limo. Song God's business. Doing God's business, I think. Doing Homeless for Heaven. I set up a GoFundMe account to help others. Please make a donation. Thank you, Reverend Paul Bryant Sr. Apparently he's got a GoFundMe, and it's to help homeless people. Do we need any kind of address? I don't know. Put it in the chat field. Yeah, doing. I translate. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Last week we did something really unusual. On Friday we had Agyat, an Indian meditation expert, lead us through some laughing, where I laughed for 3 minutes straight. Never see that on Colbert, now will ya? And then also we then meditated. Before the show I did some laughing. Forced laughing, yeah. Forced laughing is a good thing, as long as it's not your cousin and he's on your chest and he's doing the typewriter. That kind of forced laughing is not so good. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. What's the difference between a cat? Oh, it's time for humor. Let it go. And what? Another cat? Nothing, because a chicken has no lips. Perfect. This is absurdist humor to get us off to explore some Hygge. Here we go. We're going into lunch therapy now. This is just an animal being fed by someone with gloves on. I'm just kind of moving you into the Hygge Feel for things. We're going to explain it in a moment if you don't know what Hygge is. Hygge, I barely know, but I'm going to talk to you all about it. Also, I wanted to say, coming up this week, we have a filmmaker and a comedian coming on Wednesday. It's going to be a surprise. I'll let you know at the end of the show who it is. Possibly someone else is coming on Wednesday as well to tell a crazy story. This is a hint as to who that is. So let's get into this thing. Watch party. This is known as the watch party. So this is where we're going to look at, for those of you who have never seen the show before, Reverend Paul Bryant Sr. perhaps. Well, there he goes. He put his information in the chat room there on YouTube. I don't want to put his Gmail on the screen unless he tells me to. I will. But okay, here we go. This is a wombat. Last week we talked about wombats. This is George the baby wombat, and he's on the channel Australian Reptile Park. This is where we get into some real therapy on this show. Therapeutic animals. A chicken has no lips. How does it eat grapes? Ducks eat grapes. Chickens? Don't think so. I don't think they do. Look at that. Look at the wombat. George the baby wombat. It is the cutest thing you ever saw in your life. I think last time when we talked about wombats, we had a show where we talked about wombats a lot. I don't think we saw one as cuddly as this. They've got some vicious claws, I'll tell you. All right, so now we are going to look at the trough view of a live cam. This is a live cam. As you know, many of you know, I'm really into the idea of looking at live cams while we're on our live show because there's something very extraterrestrial about it. No, not extraterrestrial. I don't know. Maybe terrestrial about it. Is that we're looking at the same time, even though there is no time, by the way, there is no time. We are at the same time looking at a trough, but there are no deer there. And generally there are deer. Please get me a wombat. Wombats, not for pets. I don't think they're pets. Besides, that wombat would probably order me around everywhere I go. He'd be like getting me up in the middle of the night with his little cute little face. And he'd be standing by the door saying, "Aren't you going to leave soon? Aren't you going to leave? Please, just leave the house once. Just once." Wombats are just trash raccoons. So, yeah, trash raccoons. I don't know. Let me just see if I can show you what usually happens here. I'm going to just go back in time. See, there's a deer. There's some deer. We like deer. Deer are very dear to us on the show. They seem to only eat at night. I don't know. The deers only eat at night. There's a song there. You're welcome, all you musicians out there. There's the song, The Deers Only Eat at Night. Time keeps slipping into the future. That is another Steve Miller song. Thank you for that. Todd, may want to clarify that you like to look at live cams of animals, not the ladies or the other. Well, you know, we've had people on the show that do the live cams. I don't look at them personally, but I'm not going to vilify people that do that because I don't really know. Some people, they make their living that way, I guess. Let's see what's next. Blue sea otters from The Earth is Blue. This is a website, a channel called The Earth is Blue. And I just wanted to show you this because it's so cool. This is NOAA Sanctuaries. And for those of you that are not experiencing enough sea otters, this is for you. This is for you. This is an underwater forest. There's something that I would like to talk about later on, perhaps this week, is underwater forests and underwater lakes. So yeah, there you go. There are under the sea, apparently there are lakes. You can have a lake under the sea. I didn't know about it, but look at that sea otter. Whew. It's a beaut. It's a beauty. It's a beaut. Speaking of beauts, we got to get on with our Hygge talk because I haven't talked at all about Hygge. One more thing, just to remind you, so I wanted to say this. There was a movie that I saw, or a segment of a show called The Phenomenon. And we have a guest on the show, Rex Sykes. He's a regular on the show. Turns out, so my wife and I are watching this movie, or it's actually like a whole series called The Phenomenon. And it turns out it's about aliens and how the government is sort of like, this got us watching X-Files, actually, because it's sort of like X-Files where they're saying, the government's been hiding, that there have been aliens, extraterrestrials that have visited our planet. And they actually, interestingly enough, they seem to be trying to save us. The thought is they're trying to kill us, right? Or, like the day the earth stood still or something like that. But apparently it's the opposite. They're trying to save us, and then according to this movie, the government doesn't want us to know about it because they don't think we can handle it. They think there will be mass panic. I've heard that one before. I don't know if you've heard that one before, but I have. I have heard that one before. And so, so we can't handle it. So they hide away all the stuff. And this is about some of the government papers that apparently were released. But one of the things that struck me, and I have been thinking about it for a long time, is that there were this alien came down somewhere, I don't know, I think it was South Africa, someplace. There's kids, and they were out on a field, and the spaceship landed, and the guy got out and was standing there staring at them, this alien creature. I mean, apparently these flying saucers, and then they land. Seems to defy all known physics. And they stood there, and then what they told these kids was, you better do something about the environment because you're ruining it. And you're going to ruin your planet. And our planet might end up looking like Mars. Maybe Mars, this is a warning. Maybe Mars was like us at some point, and now look at it. This is actual, I guess, footage from the NASA rover during Red Planet exploration. Mars. Do we want it to look like this? I don't think so. So the aliens, they said, hey, I mean, they did this through telepathy, I think. They had these, they were looking like, like aliens do with the big eyes. They're looking at us, looking at the kids, because they think, oh, there's the young ones. They can do something. They got a whole life ahead of them. I'm going to tell them, hey, you got to watch out because you're going to destroy the planet the way you guys are going. So they interview these kids. They're adults now. They interview them now years later. And the kids are like, oh, yeah, this is the weirdest thing. You had the alien on the thing. We were so embarrassed because everybody thought we were crazy. The teachers, for some reason, they also saw it. And they were like, I didn't see anything. What are you talking about, little kids? Little crazy kids? Get these kids out of here. Get them graduated. But anyway, so here they are, adults, saying it was the weirdest thing. The alien came down. There he was, clear as day, communicating with us, telling us to do something about how we're destroying our planet. And none of these kids apparently did anything. I don't know. There's no indication in the movie that the kids did anything to save the planet. Kamala says, do you mean a freshwater lake inside of a saltwater ocean? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Jose Salas is going to have to help me out with this. He sent me this, and there's lakes in the ocean. We're going to have to find out. Massive cover-ups. Yeah. Bring on the comedian. Aliens are humans from the future. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what we thought too. Maybe they're in the future, because the other thing they were trying to do is they come down with their flying saucers and they try and stop us from launching nuclear missiles. So those Minutemen sites, apparently they come in and the people in the Minutemen thing are like, whoa, wait a minute, somebody just turned everything off. We can't blow up anything. So they could be from the future, like Terminator, where they're just like, hey, we're trying to save your guys' ass. And our own too. Aliens put too much stock in what 8-year-olds would do. I think so. I think they were trying. I just think they were like, oh, there's some humans, but they probably know, that these are little kids. I would guess. I don't know. Maybe they age backwards there. Maybe they think that these are the adults. You mean a chicken with lips? Chicken with lips. Anyway, we've now seen. Hopefully this is not the future. Hopefully this is not the future. All right, we're moving on. Is there anything just a little bit to lighten things up before we get to the Hygge? This is two beavers meeting for the first time at the, I believe it is the Oregon Zoo. Yeah, Oregon Zoo. There's Jose. Yeah, and thank God Jose is here to put some facts into the fiction. They're called brine pools. Brine pools. They're under the water. We're gonna explore that. We're gonna maybe dive into a brine pool. Right now, we got some beavers diving into just a regular pool. They just met. They're hanging out. There's some worry in the comments on this thing about whether they're fighting here. And they're not. They're apparently just playing. This is the way beavers play. We're not used to seeing beavers play, I don't think. So going back to Mars is like going back to the future. Exactly. Time travel might be a theme of the show today. I don't know. Solid punchline for a lame joke about Mars. Yeah, there's something. There's something there. They are also salty. I see. Well, I mean, in order to keep the water under the water, I would think it would have to be heavier in some way. Because if it was lighter, it would be a lake on top of the ocean. Anyway, these are these wildly cute beavers. Now we're moving on because we got to talk about Hygge. Yeah, that's the thing. It's I had a whole thing for y'all that I'm saving for another day, and it's about the Tasmanian Devil. Because everybody's interested in the Tasmanian Devil, right? I've got this weird thing going on here where I'm doing some new kind of high-tech things here behind the scenes. Like I got 2 cameras going. I have no idea why. Speaking of the time, Ben McKnights is here. Welcome, Ben McKnights. You missed some cool stuff. We had, they are so cute. Beavers, you missed some beavers. Well, I don't know, maybe you saw the beavers. But now you've come to a very important part of the show. I saw beavers fighting in an 8mm film once. Hard to forget. Who knows what Todd is talking about there? Perhaps we'll ask him at some point. When things are not so important right now, because it's super important, because one of the things that I'm exploring on this show is about how we can be happier. How can we be happier when the surroundings, so many infuriating things are occurring around us and so many kind of scary things are happening? How can we be happier? We were exploring that last week with Agiat, and we were exploring meditation. We were laughing. And I'm practicing the laughing every day because it actually makes me more prone to laughing, and I think laughing is probably makes you happier. So I hope y'all are doing that as well. But today we're going to talk about something called Hygge, which is the Danish art of coziness. Yeah. So, it's spelled in a strange way, but it's Danish. It's not English, so it's not what we're used to. So don't get all scared and everything just because we don't know it. Hygge. Maybe there are some people that are like use this word all the time, but I don't, because it just seems awkward. Hygge. When I first heard of it, I thought it was, I thought of my neighbor's dog. My neighbors had a dog named Poogie, sort of like Hygge. And Poogie was a mix of a beetle and poodle. And when you put poodle and beagle together, you get Poogie. Well, you don't really get Poogie. You get Poogle. I think Poogie was like a nickname because he was a poogle. And apparently that's a thing, poogles. I didn't know this. Beagles are great dogs. Poodles are great dogs. Put them together, they make a not so great dog. No, maybe they're fantastic. I don't know. But Poogie was kind of like he was sort of, well, let's say he was ugly. He was pretty ugly. He was matted little. He had dreadlocks. I don't know. It was a grayish kind of black curly hair that he had. Poogle. I mean, he could have been. I mean, just think he's like one letter off from being Google, like a multi-billionaire organization. But instead, he was just like this little mangy dog. But he was super unusual. I would look over the fence at their backyard, and Poogie would be like up in a tree. He has these like short little stubby legs, except he still could climb trees. So, you can't really judge a dog by the shape of their weird little stubby legs. Which reminds me, Jeff Lohman, one of our contributors, one of our regulars on the show, his little dog, Mocha, is seen here in this epic video. This video is available on the internet on Jeff Lohman's website. He plays the music of Chariots of Fire. And he got banned from, for playing that music. And I don't want to get banned, so that's why I'm singing it. It does sound like from something from IKEA. Genial Hygge. Yeah, can you judge the president by his tiny hands? I don't know. Doesn't give tiny hands a good rap, as it were. So anyway, there's Mocha. I mean, I think he's, it seems sort of inappropriate, but I think it's appropriate to Hygge, which is the art of coziness. Hygge, the word Hygge, there's some debate about it. Some people think it's from the Danish word for hug. It seems pretty good to me. But it's about being happy through comfort, all kinds of comfort. So Mocha, gives comfort to Jeff and his wife Mayada, and perhaps he's Hygge as well. So since the lockdown, I've gotten sort of interested in Hygge, but instead I've just actually gotten huge. I've gotten huge. I've gained like 10 pounds. From eating all that ice cream, I guess. I never eat ice cream, not during the lockdown, but during the lockdown, I feel like I have to eat it like every day for some reason. I don't know if that's Hygge. Hygge is generally, it's generally like sweaters, big sweaters. I've got some footage here, some footage of some Hygge. There's Hygge. Like you have hot chocolate and like a blanket. It's kind of like how they are at the Moose Lodge, I think, up there in Washington State. There's somebody with their computer and maybe a glass of wine. Some people have alcohol with their Hygge. A lot of times they eat things that are bad for you, like candy and cake. And I don't know about ice cream because it doesn't seem very warm. So it's very warm. And in Denmark, on the fire, in Denmark, it's apparently one of the happiest places in the world. The UN does a study on where the happiest places are. And for some reason, Denmark always comes up at the top. And I always thought, wow, really depressing. I've been to Denmark and I thought, oh man, it rains all the time. It's kind of like Seattle. There's probably a high suicide rate. Apparently there's not. Apparently it is very happy. And I'm thinking maybe it's because of the Hygge, the tradition of Hygge. There's the guy who wrote the book on Hygge. He said that Hygge in Denmark is like freedom is in the United States. That's how much they value it. It's weird, though, because there's this guy, Wim Hof. I've talked about him on the show before. He goes out into the cold, and he believes that it keeps him healthy and happy to go out into the cold, go out into the snow. He jumps into the cold water all the time, freezing cold. And it turns out he is also from Denmark. So it's kind of the yin, the yang. Sometimes I think going out in the snow, doing, hard work makes the Hygge better. Having something to doogie makes the Hygge much better. Having some kind of purpose. And then also there's this guy, Matthew Ricard. I don't know if you know who he is, but they've tested his brain. He's a monk. At first he was some kind of engineer from France, and he was just living the France engineering life. And then all of a sudden he decided, I'm going to be a monk. And he went full on into it. Now he's Matthew Ricard, famous monk. He wrote a book called Happiness. And there doesn't seem any, this is a picture from his website. There doesn't seem to be any Hygge in this photo. No Hygge. Like the absence of Hygge. And yet he's the happiest person on earth. I always thought Disneyland was the happiest place on earth, but apparently it's not. Apparently the U.S. has never even ranked in the top 10 of the happiest places on earth. So who are we to say? So I'm going to start doing more Hygge. I wonder how many times I've said Hygge in this thing. There's something called Saturday morning candy time. I think that's true. They wrap up in their blankies. They're blankies. They call them blankies there. And and they have their candy time. they eat candy. It's like the opposite of what people tell you to do. Different strokes for different folks. Hygge is an illusion. Hygge is not real. Time is not real. Hygge's not real. Being all Hygge is, I think it always has to have the other thing. I think you have, just like, in the laughter meditation, you laugh really hard and then you sit still and meditate. I think there's always got to be some balance, right? I'll take hot chocolate in front of a fire with a bag of candy over sitting outside with rocks going into my butt, staring at a mountain. Yeah, but who will be happier? I don't know. It does seem like the easiest way to get happy, right? Oh, one other thing that I wanted to tell you about is there's lighting. That's why this is back here, because I'm here in this cafe, because apparently lighting is very important to Hygge. The brighter the light, the less Hygge. So they love these lamps that are made by this guy. Let me see if I can find him here. Paul Henningsen. This guy. I don't know if you've seen these lamps before, but they love these lamps there in the Hygge because they give off this particular kind of this amber glow, this warm feeling. They also love the candles. The Hygge people love candles. So there you go. So we're heading into the winter part that doesn't have any holidays or anything like that. We just, it's going to be cold, probably rainy. I think that maybe we should all experiment with some Hygge, like the Danes. Danes are weird, but they're happy. I always think of Claire Danes. I don't think she's a Dane at all. She was strange though in Homeland. I don't know if you saw Homeland, but that's just a TV show. And this is an internet show, and we've got to keep this thing moving. So it's dance party time. Let's all get Hygge. I got some I'm hungry. There's no lunch. It sounds a lot like my sidekick Boney when you say you're hungry like that. But now it's dance party time. Here we go, dance party. This is beautiful, by the way. I love this kind of snowy scene. I love dancing around when there's no music. I think there needs to be some music. Let me see if I can find some good stuff here, because we're about to have some serious music here. Let me see if I can find some good. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. No, there's no music. I don't know why. Anyway, nobody hears any music. It doesn't seem to be working. There should be a Hygge dance. I've got music coming at you. But first, I've got a treat. The show has inspired, because we were talking all about the tap dances, has inspired one of our viewers, Mulva, to give us a tap lesson. So here we are, Mulva doing a tap lesson, and then we're going to jump right into the song, which is If I Had a Boat, which is a great song by Lyle Lovett, and it's going to be sung by this fantastic guy. So his name is Kingdom Jasmine. That's not his real name, but it's a cool name. Anyway, here's Mulva.
Hi, Lunch Therapy. It's Mulva. I just found my old tap shoes in a box in the garage after Joel challenged me to. So I'm going to show y'all how to do the time step.
It's working.
All right. So there are two things you need to know to do the time step. You need to know a shuffle, which is brush, brush. Right? Okay. It goes forward and backward.
I should have had a camera for my shoes.
And you need to know a flap. It's actually flap, one flap, but it makes two sounds. For some reason they call it flap. 2 syllables.
Step. I know that you all want to learn tap dance. I know you do.
And this changes weight onto the ball of the foot.
Be quiet.
So a shuffle comes back without changing weight. A flap changes weight. All right? So to do the time step, what you need to do is shuffle, hop. Everybody knows how to hop. Don't doubt yourself.
Shuffle, hop.
Step to the other foot. And left foot does flap step.
So I'm going to put this up on our channel in a little kind of training area, I think, where we can train people how to do fun stuff.
Step left.
It's a new thing. I don't know. It's a new lunch therapy. Adding value to the channel.
Start your shuffle again. So you're going to do shuffle, hop, step, flap, step, shuffle, hop, step, flap, step. Then later, once you get really good at this, you're going to add an extra sound. Instead of shuffle, hop, step, flap, step, it's going to become shuffle, hop, flap, step. Right? And that would be like this. Shuffle, hop. Oh, hold on. Remember, I haven't had these on in 3 years. So it's going to be shuffle, hop, flap, step. Shuffle, hop, flap, step. Shuffle, hop, flap, step.
Okay, she's missing it. Mulva might be missing this, but I'm going to put it up somewhere where people can see, and it'll just be like, how do you do the flap? One of the things that I find really amazing about this is that she just pulled her shoes out of a box after like 8 years or something like that, put them on, and suddenly was able to teach a tap dance class. Tap dancing is the opposite of Hygge for me. Thanks, Mulva. Or is it Whipple? Wait, Dolores? Dolores, maybe that's a reference to Westworld, perhaps? I don't know. I like Dolores. Anyway, so now we're going to move on to this this guy. He gave us permission to play his song. This is one of my favorite, well, I've got a lot of favorites, I'll tell you. One of my favorite Lyle Lovett songs, If I Had a Boat.
And if I had a boat, go out on the ocean. And if I had a poem,
I'm going to try not to talk.
Right among my boat.
I love the river, though.
We could all together go out on the ocean, me upon my pony on my boat.
I love this whole thing. It's so good.
If I were Roy
The
Rogers,
shirt is great, too.
sure enough be sing.
It's very unhooty.
Bring myself to marry an old day. It would just be me and Trigger riding through to them movies, by a boat and on the sea we'd sail. And if I had a boat, go out on the ocean. If I had a pony, ride 'em on my boat. We could all together go out on the ocean, me upon my pony on my boat. The mystery masked man was smart, got himself a Tonto. Tonto did the dirty work for free. Tonto, he was smart. One day said, Kemo-sabe, kiss my ass, I bought a boat, I'm going out to sea. And if I had a boat, go out on the ocean. If I had a pony, ride 'em on my boat. We could all together go out on the ocean, me upon my pony on my
This is a new thing where I talk at the very end so I don't talk during the song. It has been, it's an experimental thing. But I want to say Wednesday, we're going to have comedian and filmmaker John Poveromo, and Poveromo. I can never pronounce people's names when they come on my show. It is the rudest thing. Poveromo is going to come on. He's got a short film that's a funny film about depression. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to do some of his stand-up comedy. And we're going to, just have a fun time with a comedian. And then also, perhaps, we might have another guest at the same time, perhaps. But that remains to be seen. I don't know who it's going to be. That is a great song. Todd was higging it. I was kind of higging it too. That was very gracious of him to let us see that, let us listen to that. And you can go to his channel, of course, anytime that you want. And please go and subscribe. Now, this is the actual end of Lunch Therapy. Thanks for joining us. Us being me. See you then. See you Wednesday.